Right, good morning. It's Saturday morning. After a successful weekend last weekend stripping down the engine. For those of you that didn't watch the videos last week, I suggest you go and have a look. It was quite a lot I managed to achieve. Managed to get the rear beam pretty much built up and the front subframe. So we managed to achieve a lot last week. This week my goals are to fully strip down the engine. I've just been to a local hardware store and managed to pick up a pulley. So the gear pulley set, I'm going to remove the pulley and finish stripping this down, degreasing it all, giving it a good clean down with a wire brush, masking it off and putting some VH paint on it. VHT paint I believe it is, which is suitable for high temperature. So I'll be doing that shortly. I'll put you on time lapse so you can watch me finalise that part. I've been doing a lot of research into the porting. I've picked up a few bits already, ready for that. I'm not going to be touching the combustion changer for the porting on the bottom side there. I will be cleaning that up a little bit, getting it ready. However, I will be porting the exhaust side and the inlet side, so that's something I'm looking forward to doing. A bit scary because it's not something again I've done before, but however I've watched, as I said, I've watched a lot of guidance videos and it seems something I'll be happy to take on. In the middle of the week I did try and start stripping this again. I just put an absolute ton of nitro-morse on it and it is getting there. I think the idea with this is just every so often I'll just hit it with a bit more and strip it back, because I really want to get this fully stripped and painted the same colour as the engine. In fact, while we're here, let's have a quick look. Where's the paint? Got it there? There we go. Let's just get that out. I'm not sure what the colour match is going to be like against the parts that I've had powder coated. This is the stuff, up to 550 degrees C, silvery grey. I don't know if that's going to be as accurate, but there, hopefully it won't be too bad. So that will paint the engine block, the gearbox. I've mentioned multiple times about stripping down and getting paint on it. So for now, let's get you on time. Let's finally get this removed, strip down the final components and get this cleaned up, ready for paint. So as you see me doing for the last probably about an hour now, I gave it another scrub down, used a lot of degreaser on it. Where was I? Battery died again. Luckily I've got some spare batteries, but here we go. So yeah, degreased, gave it a scrub down. This side I think it's all dry, it's ready for paint, so I'm going to give it a first go. As you can see, I've masked off the important areas. This side I'm not too fussed because I can run the blade over it if I get any overspray. I'm just going to see how it goes in this section here. This is still drying at the moment and I still need to trim these areas there, but I'm going to give this side a spray. I'm excited to see what the outcome is going to be. So yeah, let's get the paint shaken up. Let's give it a go. So annoyingly I forgot to put it on time lapse there, but I've just given it a light dusting for a first coat, so don't go on too thick and let that dry, and then you can put a thicker coat on. It says just one coat after the light coating, so I'm gonna let that dry, as I said. Worked it around here a little bit. There's a little bit of moisture there which I can wipe off. This is not gonna, you're not gonna see much of this anyway, so I'm just making sure I get in the nooks and crannies. Slightly messed off that area there, but yeah, it's looking good. So I'm gonna leave that to dry for probably 20 minutes, and then I'll hit it with a thicker coat. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with the colour. It's freshened it up loads, so something I wanted to do for ages, but I think you'll agree already it's looking great. So whilst that's drying, I'll spend a bit of time now sorting out, cutting that area there, and then hopefully this side will be dry and I can give this a light coat as well. So yeah, I'll put you on time lapse. Let's get this side prepped and ready. So where are we at? I've just given it a really decent thick coat now. It needs 15 to 30 minutes to dry. It's quite sunny today, so it might take a little less, but I'm just going to leave it there. I am tempted to perhaps do another coat as well. However, it's gone on pretty well. As you can see, the finish is really nice. There's no drips, which is a nice surprise. I have had difficulty getting into these areas down here, so when I take this paper off, which was too difficult to cut, I may have to give it a go over and then just scratch the surface off if any paint gets on there. But there you go, here comes the sun. But yeah, there you go, really happy with that. It's looking great. The other thing you saw me do was use a load of degreaser on this cover. It's come up really nice. Put that in the sun, a few little marks on it, but nothing to worry about. You won't really see it anyway, but it's come up nice. Put a bit of back to black, just replenish the plastics a little bit. But yeah, degreaser is I was a little bit nervous. Degreaser is the perfect stuff to get rid of all of this goat up oil and whatever else is in there. Just a bit, some cheap engine oil and grime remover. But it does the job really well, as you can see. So let's put that back in the parts bin, if you like. Just to go over here. Well, actually, down in this part, let's move that out right. Here we are, that's the other plastic cover. I believe it goes something like that. Yeah, there you go, that's one I cleaned up ages ago. The ones who've been watching the channel for a long time will see that that wasn't new. That was also cleaned up in the same process as I've just done this one, so it looks great. So yeah, really moving forward with this now. Let's just leave that there for the moment. The other thing to paint, as I've said a number of times, is this. I think it would look really good if it wasn't painted and just pulled back to the metal, but I think over time it'll look a bit rough and it'd be good to have it matching the block. So let's put some more nitromorse on this and let it eat into the paint, and then give it a bit more of a scrub. So yeah, let's put it on time lapse and let's get some nitromorse on there. Okay, so I think it's dry now, and this is always exciting bits to do. Maybe that's just me, but perhaps this is my little bit of OCD that I have. But I think now is the time to at least put one brand new part on it and just start seeing it coming together. So there is a little bit of paint build up in there, so before I screw this on, I'm just going to give that a little wipe over, so just bear with me. Ooh, another new part.
Mimic? two. Achoo! So we were playing a random drum and bass mix, and the song.
So I'm not putting all the parts on properly, but I'm adding a few bits, and it's just to keep track of the bolts. I need to check, these are number 8, and there is some 9s in there, so we need to make sure they're correct. So I'm just loosely putting them on, and then I can account for all the nuts and bolts that we've got, what we got left over. So I'm going to put this on loosely. Obviously I'll have to put a gasket in there, and I'm not actually sure if we can put this on without some of the other bits going on first, but as I said, let's put it on really loose. Hey Siri, stop. How about this one, boys? All coming together. Need to put, as I said earlier, mentioned earlier, some sealant on that. I don't know if you need a sealant or gasket on that. I need to check that, or if anybody knows, let me know. Same on that one. I think there was a seal, like a rubber seal on that, so I don't need to do that. I've not put in the oil pressure thing all the way yet. It seems really tight, but I might get an adapter which allows you to have a oil pressure gauge, which would be quite nice. One of the Defi gauges. What else have we got? And also a Defi gauge I'll be able to have on the supercharger, see what boost I'm running, so that'll be nice, and an oil temp, so that'll be good. So most of this is on loose, but I have to say I'm really happy with what I managed to achieve today. That seems to have gone on alright as well for the oil cooler. What I'm going to do now is going to flip the engine over and put this back on. I'm assuming that's called a baffle, I'm not entirely sure. And all the bolts on it, so I'm going to put them on. I also need to check what the torque setting is for those. Again, if anybody knows, if you can let me know, that'd be great. So let's reposition this back on and the oil pick up. So let's flip the engine over and get them on now. There we are, that's that back on. One less thing to worry about. I'd like to refit these two bits. However, first of all, I need to, as an absolute must, where they were shot blasted. Just bear with me a second. There's a lot of dust, and with this being obviously the oil pan, you don't want this mixing with the oil, so I need to give it a really good wash to get rid of all the dust, and then I need to spend some time scratching out all of this old gasket sealant in there, so when I refit it and retighten it, it will seal. I need to make sure that face is nice, which it is, to be fair. It looks like it was done just before it was put together by Warren, the previous owner. Put that bolt in, the oil drain plug. So the same on this one, really. You'll see it's pretty smooth. Again, I need to clean it all out. I'll get some gasket, rubberized gasket, so I can get this fit on, and then once that's on, yeah, that's the engine's really getting there. Obviously the auxiliaries all to put on, etc., but the next thing to do is port the head. This is the exhaust side, and as you can see, there's quite a bit to come off. So I've got these bits, as I mentioned earlier in the video, so probably this week, my aim this week, in the nights this week, will be to start. I need to get a compression tool to remove the valves. I think they're about £20, and it pulls and it pushes out the the clips in there, and it allows you to slide the valve out, and from there I can start cleaning this up. So I'll use this. I've bought a scribe, just a few pounds. Again, this is all learnt from watching YouTube videos. You bolt this into position fixed, and then you use the scribe to scribe it, and then when you take this off, then you'll know the areas that you've got to cut into, so that the ports will be matching the gasket. And that'll be the same on the other side. At the moment, the inlet, which is over here, I haven't got a gasket for it, so I'll need to get a gasket, and then once I've got that I can do the same on the other side. But for now, whilst I order that, I can at least do the exhaust side. So we'll see how we get on. I'm not going to go too mad with it. As I said, I've watched a lot of videos, so I'm quite confident I can give it a good go. And then once that's done, I can clean the cylinder head down, make sure that's all in good order. I was going to paint it, but I don't think I am, because I think with a wire brush and that, I'll clean it up and it'll look really good, and then that in the normal colour. So yeah, just quickly on the cams front, you can get some varying cams for this engine after the research I've done. However, I've been advised that if you get the Ford Racing Puma cams, they'll give you, and the exhaust and the map, that's what gives it, and the inlet, sorry, that's what gives it, instead of 126 brake on the standard Puma, the Ford Racing Puma was about 155. So I could put them cams in and that will gain a bit of brake horsepower there. However, I've also been told I may as well stick with the standard cams, given that I'm supercharging it. The benefits and the cost, you know, £460, £500 plus for cams, the gains that I'm going to make aren't going to be that beneficial. I'd like a really lumpy cam in there so it sounds excellent, but as I said, with the supercharger, I've been advised that the standard cams are absolutely fine, because the supercharger is really going to be giving it the extra oomph. From porting the head, I should see gains. Some people say between about 15 and 20 brake horsepower, depending on the levels you go to. But as it's off, I'm just going to spend a bit of time doing it the best I can and see what improvements I can make. Because it's all a learning curve, and it's good to add little bits, unplanned bits to the engine whilst you're working on it. So yeah, that's going to be something I'll look forward to doing this week. The other thing is I'm going to continue to keep stripping this bloody thing. Hopefully that'll be ready this week. So the target, well, it's actually Sunday tomorrow, but I'm going out tonight, so I can't imagine I'll be doing much tomorrow, but you never know. So this video from today will go up Sunday night. Target in the week, strip this, get it painted, and then I can start eyeing it up against that. Clean these out, get some sealant, gasket sealant, get them fitted on the engine, and make a start on the cylinder head porting it. So really happy with what I've achieved today. Hopefully the content will look pretty good from me building up the engine. It was really daunting, I have to say, to start off with. However, just getting on with it and painting it today, I've realised it was really easy. It was nothing to worry about. The colour actually in this light is looking a bit bluish, but I think that's the lighting, because outside it wasn't quite as blue, it's a bit more grey. So it doesn't match particularly that well. However, once it's all built up, I think it's going to look great. So yeah, that's enough waffle from me for now. So I hope you enjoyed the content. Remember to like and subscribe if you haven't, please, because that really helps out. And leave any comments and advice. I really appreciate advice and tips, which I can use moving forward. So yeah, I'll catch you all soon. Cheers. One closing thing before we finish this video. Those of you who've seen a few of the previous videos will know we purchased a T5, and I noticed that these rubbers down in the corner, well, in fact this one's completely perished. So if we pull that off here, I've bought, hopefully you can see that, that's a crappy old one, and there's a replacement new one. So they're only a few pound off eBay. If anybody's interested and wants the link, I can send that over to you. But it's definitely worthwhile, stopping moisture getting back into the vehicle and help prevent rusting. So I'm just going to quickly swap these over. Yeah.